Welcome, focused learners, to this explainer. If you've set your sights on the top tier of state administration in Andhra Pradesh, well, you are exactly where you need to be. Today, we're laying out your ultimate roadmap to cracking the highly competitive APPSC Group 1 exam. Look, this is your gateway to unlocking those incredibly prestigious, high-impact posts. We're talking deputy collector, deputy superintendent of police, assistant commissioner. It's a massive journey, for sure, but with the right map, it is entirely achievable. Let's get into it. Here's how we're going to break it all down today. We'll start with the Group 1 challenge itself, look at the 3 stages of selection, figure out how to navigate that tricky negative marking, pinpoint the high-weightage syllabus topics, and finally, build out your weekly study plan. Okay, Part 1, the Group 1 challenge. So let me ask you right off the bat, how do you actually conquer an exam with a syllabus this vast? It can feel completely overwhelming, right? Well, the absolute key here isn't just working hard, it's working smart. A structured, highly strategic approach is what actually separates the successful candidates from the rest of the pack. You really need a system. And why do we need such a rigorous system? Because passing this exam is literally the ultimate gateway to top administrative roles. We're talking about becoming a deputy collector or a DSP. These are roles where you're out there implementing policies and maintaining law and order. Yes, the prep is intense. It requires laser-like focus, but the reward of serving in these state government leadership roles, it's incredibly fulfilling. Moving on to Part 2, the 3 stages of selection. The APPSC Group 1 selection process is basically a multi-tier marathon. First up, you face the preliminary examination. Now, it's absolutely crucial to understand that the prelims is strictly a screening test. Its marks don't count towards your final rank at all. It simply gets your foot in the door. The second stage is the mains examination. Now, this is the heavy lifter. It's a descriptive, written test that heavily determines your actual merit ranking. And finally, for those who clear mains, there's the interview or personality test. This is worth 75 marks and evaluates your leadership potential and decision-making under pressure. Your final rank? It's the combined score of your mains and that interview. Right, let's talk about Part 3, which is crucial, navigating negative marking. I really want to emphasize this number, 1/3. In the prelims, for every single incorrect answer you bubble in, 1/3 of a mark is instantly deducted from your score. This literally changes the entire psychology of the test. It means accuracy must be prioritized way over blind guessing. If you aren't absolutely sure, a wild guess can actually pull your score down and push you right below that qualifying cutoff. And to make that penalty even more daunting, just look at the structure of the prelims papers. Both Paper 1 and Paper 2 followed this exact same format. 120 questions, 120 minutes, 120 marks. That means you have exactly 1 minute per question. This intense time pressure makes that negative marking penalty so much more dangerous. You have to read, process, decide, and move on rapidly without letting the ticking clock force you into careless mistakes. Okay, on to Part 4, high-weightage syllabus topics. You'll notice a really perfect balance in Prelims Paper 1, the General Studies paper. History, polity, economy, and geography are each worth exactly 30 marks. This proves that you absolutely cannot afford to just skip a subject. These 4 core general studies subjects require equal attention across the board. You need a solid understanding of the Indian Constitution, the history of India and Andhra Pradesh, and physical and economic geography to secure those 120 marks. Now, check out that massive 60-mark section for general mental ability in Paper 2. It accounts for exactly half of the paper. For beginners, this shows exactly what you need to prioritize. Mastering logical reasoning, data interpretation, and basic math gives you a huge, highly scoreable advantage. The remaining 60 marks, they're split evenly between science and tech and current events. Once you survive the prelims, you face the descriptive mains. Now, looking at a syllabus with 7 papers can be incredibly daunting, but let's break it down to reassure you a bit. The first 2 papers, English and Telugu, are strictly qualifying in nature. You just need to pass them, their marks are not added to your final rank. This cleanly separates them from the 5 core merit papers, general essay, history and geography, polity, economy, and science and tech. Each of these 5 merit papers is worth 150 marks. By mentally separating the language qualifiers from the core scoring papers, the whole task suddenly becomes highly manageable. Finally, let's wrap up with Part 5, your weekly study plan.
I absolutely love this insight from our sources because it establishes a fundamental truth. Systematic, weekly consistency will always beat last-minute cramming. The syllabus is just way too deep and way too wide to memorize in a month. You need a structured engine to drive your preparation forward every single day.
So, here is your highly actionable weekly routine. First, you absolutely must read daily current affairs, keeping a really sharp eye on regional news. Never, ever ignore Andhra Pradesh-specific issues, like the AP Reorganization Act or the state budget. Second, divide your week's active practice. Dedicate specific days to churning through prelims MCQs to build that speed and accuracy we talked about earlier. On other days, force yourself to do mains descriptive answer writing. And finally, build in consistent revision cycles. You really don't want to forget week 1's material by the time you hit week 10.
If you're a beginner, here is my biggest piece of mentorship for you. Do not rush into the complex stuff right away. Cement your foundation in the 4 core subjects first: history, polity, economy, and geography. Read your standard textbooks. Once you truly understand the basic framework of the Indian Constitution or the fundamentals of the economy, then you can confidently tackle the advanced topics like space technology or complex ethical case studies for mains.
So let's summarize this entire roadmap. Week 1 is purely about understanding the raw syllabus and exam pattern inside out. Weeks 2 through 20, that's the grind, building those core basics while maintaining your daily habits of current affairs and MCQs. Then, as you hit that final month before the exam, you shift gears entirely into the crucial final revision and mock test cycle. Guys, mock tests are non-negotiable. They are your absolute dress rehearsals for the real 120-minute pressure cooker. We've laid out the map. You know the 3 stages, you know the exact weightage of the subjects, and you have the blueprint for a killer weekly study plan. The path to becoming a deputy collector or DSP is clear, but it requires your absolute dedication starting right now. So, the roadmap is in your hands. Are you ready to take the first step today? Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer, and happy studying.